I was reading the paper today and listening to the news, and it's quite easy to get depressed with everything that's happening in the world today. But what it also emphasised is the importance of this six to fix in six, which is how do we as an industry, how do we each manage risk? So what I want to do is to summarise to you what I believe are the essentials when it comes to risk management. This really is a core competency for everyone in every business because there is a lot of risk. You can't avoid it. All you can do is manage it. So here's the top seven, in fact, best industry practices, the ones that really do matter for risk management. Number one is leadership at every level really do understand what I've just said. We live in a world where there's a lot of turbulence and a lot of change. Associated with that change and that turbulence is risk. And our ability to manage that is really, really key. So leadership have to really see risk management, not as a tick box exercise. We have a policy that satisfies ICHQ 9, tick and move on. We've got to actually ensure that leadership understand the vital importance of quality risk management so that, as we see later, it's embedded throughout the organisation. Number two is every organisation, each one of us who manages risk, has to intimately have a knowledge of products and processes. You cannot manage risk unless you understand the process, critical control points, the attributes of the product that have an impact on the patient if they go wrong. So risk management without an in-depth knowledge of products and processes actually is dangerous. So you've got to invest in knowledge of products and processes because without it you cannot manage risk. Number three is really making sure that risk management is used more for prevention than reaction. And the best-in-class companies spend 80% of their efforts in risk management, prevention, rather than risk assessment, which is reaction. So ask yourself the question, do you use risk management more reactively when things go wrong or more preventively to stop them going wrong? Because we've got to invest more in prevention rather than reaction. Number four, I've touched on already, quality risk management has to be embedded throughout the organisation. I get really nervous when I meet the quality risk management specialist or all you see or read is the quality risk management policy without it being embedded throughout the organisation. So quality risk management has a role to play in defining your audit schedule, the suppliers you choose, the validation that you do, the environmental monitoring that you do. So in every decision that you make, risk management has to play a vitally important role. So that means it has to be embedded throughout the organisation. So ask yourself the question, do we embed it throughout everything that we do, or does it just sit as a policy statement on somebody's shelf? Number five is really important because risk management needs to be structured, it needs to be organised, it needs to be disciplined, and it needs to be simple. Partly because as human beings we tend to overestimate risk. The fear of risk, the fear of failure is a very powerful behavioural driver, and unless we have a structured process that focuses on facts and the essential science underpinning our process, what we end up doing is actually overestimating risk because of that emotional concern about fear of regulatory criticism, fear of failure, often of which is not the case. So make sure your approach is really structured, simple, science-based and driven by data. Number six is really important that when you're conducting risk management exercises, you've got to do it with a multidiscipline team. When you do it alone, you just view that risk in isolation. And when you use risk management correctly and to its best effect, it's always through using a multidisciplinary team. And you get the best out of everybody as a result of that. And lastly, number seven, just squeeze it in, my six to fix. Quality risk management has to be continually reviewed. That word out there is changing all of the time. We need to be abreast of those changes. And that means reviewing how we manage risk, how you make those decisions on an annual basis at least, so that you adjust, improve, and manage risk a lot better. So there are the 7 best industry practices, your 7 points to fix. Practice those and you will manage risk a lot better and you will benefit.